Welcome to the Fire and Earth podcast with your hosts, Jason Mefford and Kathy Gruver. Fire and Earth, giving you the keys to unlock your limitless potential.
Welcome to another episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford.
And I am Kathy Gruver. And today we're going to be I can't talk.
We're going to be talking about.
As opposed to a talk. Oh, good
Okay.
Lord.
Or a C talk.
Or a C talk. Yeah, we can do a C talk. Cool. Hey, I'm Kathy. I clearly need help. It's going to be one of those goofy episodes, clearly. So we're going to talk today about creating mindful space, having a mindful office, a mindful house, whatever that is, and how that can help you be more relaxed, more present, more focused. I did it.
There we go.
So I had a client that was incredibly stressed out. She was an investment banker and she was working with other people's millions, which is got to be a very stressful thing. And so she was coming to my office for massage, actually, thinking that would help. And we were, during the massage, she was talking to me about how stressed she was and she never got to have a lunch and she was working till like 7 or 8 at night. And she just felt so unproductive because she was so stressed and so crazy. And I kind of thought about it for a while. I knew she couldn't take time off. I knew she just was so overwhelmed. And so I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, do you have your own office? And she said, yeah, I do. And I said, like with a door, or are we talking like a cubicle thing here? And she goes, no, I actually have a door. I said, okay, are you allowed to close the door? She said, yeah, because some offices, like some law firms, if you're not allowed to close the door. She goes, oh, I could totally close the door. And I said, okay, can you do anything in your office you want? Like to the office? And she goes, I guess so. And I said, okay, what is your like safe space, your like perfect vacation thing? She goes, oh my God, it's totally Hawaii. And I went, okay, cool. So here's what I'd like you to do. I said, I want you to find the perfect blue, whether it's the sky blue or the ocean blue. I want you to paint the wall in front of your desk that color blue. She goes, oh, that's a really good idea. I said, yeah, I want you to go to Bed Bath & Beyond or the equivalent and get one of those sound machines that sound like the ocean. She goes, oh, that's a great idea. I said, and while you're there, I want you to get a candle that smells like the ocean because they have candles that smell like everything and it's a little creepy. So she got a candle that smelled like the ocean. I said, do you have photos on your desk? She said, absolutely. I said, what is the picture of? She said, my kids. I said, you know what your kids look like. Get rid of the picture of your kids. I said, put up a picture of you at the ocean or that selfie now we all take with our legs coming out of the chaise lounge with the ocean in the background. She goes, oh God, I actually have one of those. Of course you do. Great. Put that in the picture frame. I said, I'm assuming you have a computer. She goes, yeah, I have 2. I went, oh geez. Okay. I said, what's on the screen right now? Like the screensaver. And she goes, oh, it's like the wipey thing that came with the computer. I said, no, get rid of the wipey thing. I said, put up a picture of a beach scene, the ocean, palm trees, whatever image works for you as your background. I said, and here's the final thing. What kind of desk do you have? And this was several years ago. So she had one of those big old metal desks, like that had the drawers on the side, right?
The old school
the
one.
old school desks.
Yeah.
And I said, what kind of desk do you have? And she told me. And I said, oh, that bottom drawer that's for files that we fill with crap, what's in there? And she goes, oh, it's filled with crap. And I went, okay, take all the crap out. I said, I want you to go to the beach, because this was in California. I said, I want you to get a bucket and fill it with sand. And I want you to put it in that drawer. And every day for about 5 minutes a day, I want you to light the candle. I want you to turn on the sound machine. I want you to stare at the picture of the beach. I want you to put your hand in the damn bucket of sand for 5 minutes. And she's like, wow, that's a lot. I went, I know. So the next time I saw her, I said, how's it going? She goes, I picked out the paint. I got the sound machine. She did everything. She goes, my staff thought I was insane walking through the office with a bucket of sand, but she did it. And she found herself so much more productive. She was getting so much more work done. She was getting to leave the office at like 5 or 6 as opposed to 7 o'clock. She was able to take a couple minutes for a lunch where she didn't have to like shove food in her mouth as she was doing her work. She was more productive, more relaxed. She was the happiest woman in the world because she incorporated these things into her office. This is why we do the what's on your desk stuff, because we want to surround ourselves by things that trigger relaxation, joy, happiness, productivity, all that kind of stuff. So that was my client and what I assisted her in doing with her office.
Well, I think this is great, and especially for us to be talking about now for a couple of reasons. right, is especially with kind of the whole pandemic bullshit that we've been going through, a lot of people are working from home, right? And the environment in which you work in does have a big impact on you emotionally,
Yeah.
right? In how you're feeling. And again, I know everybody's space is different, right? And I worked for a lot of time. My office, was kind of part of the living room for a long time in the place where I was living one time. But the more that you can, in your physical office, there's a lot of stuff you can't do that you may be able to do more at home now,
Mhm.
right? And so, again, if you're feeling stressed, if you're, all of this kind of stuff, what can you do to make your surrounding a little bit more mindful? And Kathy just did brilliantly in describing, what she did with this one client on some of the types of things that you can do, right? So
Yeah.
we talked about a candle, about paint, about a sound machine, about a picture,
Mhm.
screensaver on your computer, a bucket of
Mhm.
sand. Now, why all those different kinds of things, Kathy? Were you trying to get her to do something?
I was. So the more you incorporate every sense into what you're doing, the more your brain thinks it's real. So like if we imagine that we're all on a vacation or if we're thinking about the most horrible thing that ever happened, please don't do that. Our brain thinks that's real. It can't tell the difference between what it's thinking about and imagining and what's actually happening. This is why visualization is so powerful. This is why incorporating all of your senses is so powerful. The more you can do that, the more your body's going to relax and think it's actually in that space. And if you can't paint the walls and do all these changes, if you don't have an old fashioned desk where you can keep a bucket of sand in it, because we don't all have that, what can you do? Is it just the candle that smells like whatever? They have it that smells like everything right now. Is it just a picture of you at the beach? Is it a seashell that you picked up? It could be the smallest thing that is just an anchor to trigger you to go, oh, Hawaii. Wow. Okay. And go back to work. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn out, ritual that you do every day in your office. It can be something small that just triggers you to go back to that space.
Yeah. Well, because what it does, usually we end up so frenetic effectively during the day that any of these little pauses in our day, whether again it's sticking your hand in a bucket of sand, if it's getting up and walking in your grass barefoot outside for a few minutes, right? Because there's the whole idea with grounding
Yep.
as well. And a lot of people say, well, how much do I need to do? Well, it doesn't really matter. Do what you can do, because anything more that you're doing than what you're not doing now is a benefit, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
again, yeah, even if it's 10 seconds, oh, there's that picture of us in Hawaii. Wasn't that so great?
Right.
Take 10 seconds.
Well, and to that point, people think, "Oh, I don't have time to do all that." This isn't crunches. This isn't you do two and that's enough. The exercise you need to do a little bit more. But with this kind of thing, it's like if you can only take 10 seconds, don't skip the 10 seconds because you don't think that's enough. Oh, well, if I don't have 15 minutes to do this, no, take 6 minutes, take whatever you can. And if you still have a commute, if this is the kind of thing where you're still leaving your house, getting in the car, driving somewhere, getting on a train, getting on a whatever, you could do this in the car. You could put something on the dashboard of your car or an aromatherapy scent thing in your car that reminds you to be grounded as you're going to your destination. This is not just reserved for those people that have an office to go to or have something in their house set up. You can put it in your car, put it in your wallet, put it on your phone. You can control whatever picture you want is on your phone. So, there's many ways to have just those triggers to remind you to take that pause.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's great, and like I said, because I know a lot of people I've been talking to have been very stressed out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just reading something that I think in the last year, the average American is working like 2.5 hours more a week than they were before, or something. It was maybe it was a day. I don't know. It was something crazy to
Yeah.
where, people just were on the go all the time now. And so again, anytime if you can take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes to just pause, again, that's bringing more of the mindfulness in,
Mhm.
and the more that your senses that you can actually engage, the better,
Yeah.
right? Especially like that, if you're feeling stressed, what helps you feel calm? So for your client, it was Hawaii, right?
Yep.
It's okay. So I'm going to make my office feel like Hawaii so that I feel more calm at work.
Yep.
You're actually a lot more productive. I mean, you said
much
from
more.
her standpoint, she was leaving earlier. She was a lot more efficient as well.
Yep.
And so it works. It
Yeah.
works. It works. It works.
Yeah. And to that point, and then I know we're wrapping, there's so many people that don't, I have to work. I can't take that 10 minutes. You're going to be so much more productive if you take that 10 minutes. Don't think you have to power through the entire day without stopping. That's insane. You're not going to be as productive, because when we're stressed, our cognitive function starts to go awry, our memory, our higher brain functioning, all of that goes away when we're stressed. So if you try to power through thinking, oh, I got to get this done, it's actually more efficient to stop for 5 minutes, decentrate, relax, meditate, breathe, light your candle, and then go back to it. You're actually going to get more done.
Yeah. Well, and don't just take our word for it, right? It's like there's actually been a lot of scientific studies done on this. You are much more effective and efficient working 50 minutes out of the hour than the full 60 minutes.
Yep.
So relax, create more of a mindful space around you, and you'll notice a change in your life and in the emotions that you're actually feeling.
Absolutely. More productivity for less work.
Exactly.
We love it. Yay. Excellent. I'm Kathy Gruver. I can be reached at kathygruver.com.
And I'm Jason Mefford. I can be reached at jasonmefford.com. So go out, create the space around you, make it more mindful, and take a few minutes to pause every single day, and you're going to feel better. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. See ya.